first thing today, I'm ranking 16 bearfish. We're going to do them by theme again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably rank them, but and also we're going to suggest what theme they'll probably be in. But hopefully it's not too much cottagecore. Because remember the 2 days ago that we went mad, didn't it? Every single squirrel villager I suggested for you all was the same squirrel villager who had the same cottagecore theme to them. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Or hopefully not today. So our first villager is Beryl, who's a lazy villager. Well, I had to go with only 2 calls, but I only had to suggest probably Gothcore one thing because he looks like, probably a good character to be in that sort of core because he's kind of he's a bit on edge, but I think that would probably be good if he could fit in Gothcore in that sort of respect. But he could also be in cottagecore in case his house looks like, really reasonable. And he could be a cottagecore villager, but at the same time, he's not one of my favourite ones, so that's why I'll give him a 2 out of 10. It's just because his design sort of throws me off a little bit, and I can't blame you all why Beryl is the least popular villager because his design's a bit out at the top, isn't it? But you know what I mean? If he looked much better, I think everyone would just get him, wouldn't they? So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Blue Bear, who's a Perry villager. Well, I was sort of thinking to myself, what cores would she fit in the most? Well, I was thinking maybe Fairy Core and Kid Core because one thing is I think she'll be very suitable and she probably will fit those both themes. I know there's a lot of fans around there who like, Blue Bear in particular. That's why I've given her an 8 out of 10 because I think because of her design, puts everyone in the good perspective that they really want Blue Bear. And you know what, she is quite popular, but she might not be popular all the time when it comes to AnimalCrossingPod.com, etc. But she does have a lot of fans out there, so that's why I'm quite happy for Blue Bear. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Sherry, who's a Perry villager. Well, I'm sort of thinking to myself is that I couldn't really think about what I'm thinking she'll be more included in, so I had to go with Kid Core. So if you guys are thinking to yourselves, if she can only fit in one core, Kid Core would be the best one for her because if you're looking at Fairy Core, it's all to do with the bright colours, it's all to do with magical, fantasy and all that stuff, and I don't think she'll fit into that, so Kid Core was the only one I could go with in the end. But I also given her a 7 out of 10 because one thing, she's not one of my favourites, but again, she does have a lot of fans out, but I was thinking if you guys want to rank her higher, then you can if you want it. Okay, so let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Chester, who's a lazy villager. Well, I was very it was very hard for me to decide what core he could fit in, but Japanese core was the first one to come to mind because of his design. So you guys might have different opinions on this. If you guys are thinking to yourself, maybe you could argue maybe City Core and Jungle Core might be easy for him to suit him, then go with those because he could be in any core that you can think of. But even though he's a panda, that's why I was thinking maybe Jungle Core might be the most suitable one than it is for Japanese cores, so that's what I mean. But I had to give him a 6 out of 10 because I know he's not the most popular cub bear cub there is in the species, but I was thinking if he needs more fans out there, maybe a 6 out of 10 probably do because I couldn't think of what I could rank him out of, so 6 out of 10 might do. But if you guys are big fans of Chester, then go high. If you're not, go low. It's alright with me. That's what I mean by that, really. So our next villager is Judy, who's a snooty villager. Well, there's a lot of things you can say about Judy because the way she looks well presented or something like that, and plus she looks sort of different to some of the villagers because she's like the first bear cub with a snooty personality, so that makes her stand out pretty well with the personality type sort of thing. And plus she's also got the anime eyes with stars coming out of them. It makes me feel I think they did a really good job making Judy because there's a lot of fans that really do want Judy on their islands if you suggesting her. But the only 2 cores that I could think would probably suit her very well would be Fairy Core and Kid Core. So one reason I'm thinking Kid Core is that inside her house she's using the wooden block furniture, and if you wanted to keep it as it is, she can still fit Kid Core as it is because it doesn't matter if it's rainbow colours, it can still be pastel colours as well. But on the other hand, in Fairy Core, she'll probably fit your island very well because if you're looking for a Fairy Core aesthetic island and you want her as your suggestion, then I recommend her because she's definitely a good one for Fairy Core, in my opinion. Now, that's why I'm giving her a 10 out of 10 because her design really like eye catches her personality very well, and plus everyone's big fans of Judy. But I was thinking to myself, well, if you guys are definitely going to comment down below what's one of your favourite bear villages in particular, Judy would be your one. So that's what I'm suggesting is going to happen after this, I doubt. So my next villager is June, who's a normal villager. Well, the thing is, June is definitely popular with fans, but although she's not actually that popular, like in general for some reason, but I feel really bad for her in a way because she definitely needs more fans out there because she looks more like an icon for some players and probably some fans out there who definitely want June to be on their islands. But I had to go triple core because I couldn't really think to myself what was she suiting the most as a core. Well, tropical core because she looks like a summery villager in my opinion. So yeah, she'll definitely fit that core in a good way. But I had to go with an 8 out of 10 because I didn't know what I was going to give her, but it was kind of hard for me to choose. But again, she's got a lot of fans out there. I think it'd be nice if we could, like, you know, vote on animalcrossingport.com and vote for June for a change, because again it'd be nice to have some change of villages on animalcrossingport.com instead of being the same ones, because otherwise it's going to get boring, isn't it? Otherwise, let's get to this one, shall we? So my next villager is Cody, who's a Jock Villager. Well, the thing is, I've already had him before, but as my starter villager when I was starting my Sunflower Island, but he didn't stay for that long. But plus, his actual house needed definitely a remodel at the time. But the only core that I could suggest for him would have to be Kid Core, just the same with Sherry in a way, because I couldn't think of what cores they could actually, like, you know, fit in, like, personally, because when you're not looking for bear cubs, sometimes some of them might not fit all the cores in one. You have to make a decision on it. So the decision that I had to make was Kid Core for Cody because it will fit him very well. But I give him a 6 out of 10 because he's not really that popular, but he looks kind of like, you know, he's got a different expression on his face, which is kind of different than I thought he would look like. But again, he definitely looks like a cowboy, so I was thinking Kid Core might fit him that well. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Mabel, who's a normal villager. Well, she is definitely an icon in Animal Crossing New Horizons, isn't she, in a way? Because she knows she doesn't hit the charts on animalcrossingport.com, but somehow fans always have her, like, you know, have her on every single cottagecore island. So that's why I've suggested her in cottagecore for a good reason, because she definitely fits it very well. But again, you can still argue that she could fit, like, you know, jungle core if you wanted to, but again, it's definitely like a decider at the same time. But also, she's definitely popular with fans, so I'm thinking Mabel would probably do well, wouldn't she, at some point, if they did more animalcrossingportal.com, etc. But you never know. But I had to give her a 9 out of 10 because she's definitely a popular sort of, like, you know, bear card that everyone wants on their islands, and it makes sense that I should give her a 9 out of 10 in the first place. So I wonder who our next villager is, don't you? Our next villager is Murphy, who's a Cranky Villager. Well, the thing is, he has got the same, like, eyes and eyebrows as Teddy in a way, so he might be related to Teddy in a way, even though Teddy's much bigger than him. But the thing is, I was thinking about cores for him, but I was thinking Goth Core, because sometimes you think to yourself, he looks a bit, you know, like a creeper because of the way he sort of looks, you know, because he's got that, like, you know, like he's got like for his hair, he's got like a darker green, and the rest of his face is more like a lighter green a little bit. So you know what I mean? He could fit Goth Core very nicely if you had him on your, like, you know, Goth Core island, if you're looking at making a Goth Core island in the future, for example. But he might not be your cup of tea, so that's why I'm thinking to yourself, if you guys definitely not a big fan of, like, you know, Murphy, etc., then you can just rank him low. If you are, go high. But me, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 because he doesn't scare me at all. I just think he looks very, like, you know, iconic. So if you think he's not that bad, then I thought he would probably look like, but he definitely looks different from some of the bear cubs that I was expecting from, you know. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Olive, who's a normal villager. Well, I was sort of thinking to myself, what cores would she fit in? Well, Cottage Core is one of them, and Kid Core's another. So she would probably fit those both very nicely. But, well, for example, for Cottage Core, you would have to change her house interior and probably exterior to make it look more Cottage Core-y. And if you think about Kid Core, Maybe just keep it as it is, maybe. That's all I could probably think about for Olive, but I feel like she's not one of the most popular sort of like bears there are, but I feel like she'll fit anything that you think about, but those two I'll recommend for you, but if you think of any other things that should probably fit in them, just go for it, okay? Well, I had to give her an 8 out of 10 because she's not one of my favourites, but I'm still thinking to myself, if I had her on my island, then it'd be alright, because I don't mind if she's on my island or what, but she's definitely different from some of the bear cubs, I must say. So our next villager is Pico, who's a normal villager. Well, there are definitely a few normal villagers in this species, isn't there, of bear cubs, but I think they must be most popular in my sort of opinion. But also, I think Pico's definitely one of a few, like, you know, YouTubers and a few other fans out there, but unfortunately, OurCostingPort.com hasn't put a tier 1, so I don't know what's gone wrong there, but I feel like Pico needs some love out there. That's why I'm giving her a 5 out of 10, for example, because it would have been nice if they actually, like, you know, like had more of a popularity for Pico, because she looks so different, and plus she needs more fans out there, don't you think? And plus I had to only go with Japanese core for a good reason, because she looks so elegant and she looks more ancient than some of the other villagers, and plus it'd be nice if we could see more of her on different islands as well, so that's what I mean by that really. Let's get to the next one, shall we? Our next villager is Poncho, who's a Jock Villager. Well, the thing is, I was trying to think to myself, what cores really actually fit in well. I was thinking maybe Kid Core or Cottage Core or maybe City Core, but I couldn't really decide for myself. So if you're thinking to yourselves, if he's not like a good representative for Kid Core, then you could just, you know, don't have to worry about Kid Core. Maybe just start on a different core, like Cottage Core and City Core might fit in better. But the only reason that I chose City Core was that he actually lives in a flat and he shares, like, he has got it's got like a bunk bed, but you got like got one bed on the top and one on the bottom, so it makes sense that Poncho might be more of a good representative for City Core, more likely. So if you guys are looking for like City Core villages, then I recommend Poncho straight away. But also, I was going to give him a 7 out of 10 because I know he's not really that popular these days, but it'd be nice if they could, like, you know, give him, like, you know, some popularity or something like that. And plus, I feel like I haven't seen him that lot lately, so I feel like if there was more fans out there who really wanted Poncho, then they could have him on their islands every day, you know. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Pudge, who's a lazy villager. Well, the thing is, he looks kind of like, you know, different from some of the, like, you know, bear colours in general, and plus he's definitely a good representative for Kiko, I must say. And plus, I feel like he's more of like a villager that you'd probably want only for a Kiko island only, because I don't think he'll fit any other cores that I could recommend, to be honest. And plus, he does have a brother, but you might want to find out afterwards, because they're both, like, you know, kind of similar. Might have a similarity when it comes to colour palettes, etc. And they both might look different, but you never know really. But I only give him a 5 out of 10 because he's not really that popular. But in a way, if he was more popular, then I would have, like, you know, taken him as a good choice sometimes. But I wish I had him one day, you know what I mean? But if you guys want to go high or low, I don't mind. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Stitchy the Lazy Villager. Well, he's indeed one of my favourite, like, bear cubs in the game, and he does make me laugh sometimes. Sometimes when he goes to see everyone at everyone's birthdays on my island, it's like every villager, all he talks about is cake. You know what I mean? He's that villager that just constantly wants to eat food but never get out every time. That's Stitches for you. But the thing is, I had to only suggest Kid Core for him because only for one reason, is that his house interior is, like, you know, decked out with, you know, like, you know, toys and you know, rainbowy colours and etc. Although I might have already modelled it, you might not have seen it before, but it's kind of, like, you know, cool that you get to know why Stitches will be a representative for Kid Core. And plus, I give him a 10 out of 10 because he's one of my favourites, so. And plus, it'd be cool to see him a lot when they're doing Kid Core lines and see how he's, like, you know, getting on and that stuff. You know what I mean? Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Tammy, who is Sisley Villager or Uchi Villager. Well, the thing is, I didn't know what to give, what cores I was supposed to give her. It was rather thinking about maybe Cottage Core and Normal Core, but either way, you could just decide for yourself what iron cores you can fit her in, because I couldn't even think straight when it came to Tammy in general. But she's not one of my least favourites, so that's why I give her a 4 out of 10, because she looks a bit out of shape and she needs someone to like make her look a bit better, because she looks a bit like she looks a bit, you know, kind of look a bit mean. But it'd be nice if they could just make her look a bit better, and she would look, and everyone could like have her on their irons, you know what I mean? So let's get to the next one, shall we? Last villager of the day is Vladimir, who's a cranky villager. Well, I was sort of thinking about his, like, you know, kind of expression. It put me in the determined idea, put him in gothcore, maybe kidcore, because one thing for gothcore, it looks a bit like, you know, it looks kind of scary in a way, so that's a good way to describe, you know, Vladimir in particular, because he is quite scary for some of us, isn't he? And plus he's not everyone's cup of tea, etc. But the other reason I thought about kidcore is because he looked kind of like, you know, pink, and he would actually fit kidcore if you want to have him as your kidcore villager or not. It sort of depends with you really, but he's one of my least favourite bear cubs as well, so I had to give him a 1 out of 10 because I couldn't really think what I could actually give him in general. But in a way, he was kind of off, like, you know, on edge, as you can probably see, but I didn't know what to give him at the time, so that's what I probably mean by that, really. Well, the thing was, it was definitely hard for me to rank the bear cub pieces today, because one thing I was trying to sort of into different, like, you know, iron cores, and then one thing I got sort of carried away with the whole thing. Sometimes it happens to me a lot, but sometimes sometimes I struggle with it a little bit. But when I'm ranking the bear villagers soon, then I might have like a different sort of like different opinions on some of them, and hopefully I can put them in different cores, or maybe just not do cores again or something like that, because sometimes it just got me muddled up a little bit, you know what I mean? Sometimes it happens, but you never know, do you? Make sure to leave a like on this video, and if you're new to my channel and want to see more of my content, please subscribe, because a variety of content you might enjoy might involve Animal Crossing content or Utopia content. It depends really. In order to turn on notifications for the Animal Crossing and Utopia content from me, that's why I say goodbye from me, Animal Crossing. I'll see you in the next one, so bye!